Hey, good morning, everybody. Revolution. This is your boy, Brother Leonard, the Truth Seeker, and today is May 5th, 2017, and I'm coming to you with a few minutes of truth. And I promise you, it's only going to be a few minutes because I'm in traffic right now. All right. I've been following this cat for roughly since August, and the person I'm speaking of is Kenneth Adkins out of Jacksonville, or Southern Georgia, out of Jacksonville, Florida, Southern Georgia area. This man recently was convicted, and I posted up part 1 to announce that he was convicted of aggravated child molestation. See, this was the guy back last July came out with some very inflammatory statements after the Orlando nightclub massacre, where he said that those at the nightclub got what they deserve, amongst other things. He had also been a thorn in the side of many of the politicians and many of the city leaders in his home city. Not in a good way either. So, a young man last summer goes to authorities shortly after he made those statements on Twitter, saying how Pastor Adkins had been molested him when he had molested him when he was 15 years old. Okay, and he begins to tell the authorities about his situation. And after the investigation, an arrest warrant was issued for Kenny Adkins. He turns himself in. Well, after he turns himself in, after he thought that he was just going to go ahead and, basically talk his way out of it, no, come to find out he actually did molest that boy. Okay, and went to trial. His sentence went to trial, was convicted last week. Was convicted mid-April. Last week, though, his sentencing came down. And he's a 56-year-old man, and he was sentenced to 35 years minimum. 35 years minimum. So basically, and lifetime parole. Not parole, but lifetime probation. Meaning that when he is 91 years old and is released at 91, if he makes it to 91, he's released when he's 91 years old, he will still be on probation for the rest of his life. All right. So, here are my final thoughts on Kenny Adkins, because I don't think we're going to hear too much from him going forward, whether or not there's an appeal or whatnot. I don't think we're going to hear too much from him. Here's the situation. When you decide to tell people that they get what they deserve, regardless of how right you feel, that's some dangerous ground to stay on, because not only have we all fallen short, not only do we all have our own sin, it seems as if you put yourself in a place where God is going to come forth and tell you you're going to get what you deserve. Not that I believe that God is going to do that to people, but I'm just saying, it's interesting. I've been out of the church for 10 years, and I've been a follower, at least of these sorts of abusive pastors for at least the past about 7 years or so. almost 7 years. I started back when the Eddie Long scandal came across, and since the Eddie Long scandal, I've learned a lot about these pedophile pastors. And here's one of the things that I think that you should know, and I think that you can draw some sort of conclusion with, is the ones who cry the loudest about a particular sin, just a particular sin. You know, not that they cry loud on all sin, or they try to say that they're on all sin, but they have a real fixation on a certain sin. That's the one that they're probably struggling with. That's that one. And it is interesting how we're finding, and Kenneth Adkins is just another and latest example of a pastor fixated on homosexuality. So fixated on homosexuality that he's trying to hide his own tendencies of being a homosexual. Like I've said in videos before, I have nothing against gays. I do. I have nothing against gays. And you're not going to find me gay bashing anybody. You're not going to find me hooping and hollering about, you know, homosexuality being a sin and how all this stuff, you know, because really we missed the mark. Because truthfully, gay people need love too. So I'm trying to send out love to everybody and let God deal with them in how God needs to deal with them. But they need a loving arm to help them up. All right? That's my stance. I know a lot of people don't agree with it. But then for those who disagree with that, I question, is that something that you're dealing with? Okay? Because if you're dealing with that and it's an issue to you, because if it's an issue to you, more likely you probably got some issues that you need to work your own self out. And the problem is that we're in a situation, we're in a church, in a community where we have allowed ourselves to hate ourselves so much. And that's what I see with Kenneth Adkins, and this whole situation is due from self-hatred. Hates himself so much that he has to go out and hate others. And that only became his downfall. Self-hatred is going to get you. You know, these self-loathing folk, you know, it's just amazing to me at the numbers of preachers who go out time and time again to go after gay folk, end up themselves doing gay stuff. Now, don't get me wrong on this. I don't believe that molestation of any sort defines sexuality. What I am saying is when you find somebody who is going after these folk, they're typically hiding something. And most likely, those who are hiding it are actually the ones who perpetrate even the worst of it. They actually perpetrate being a pedophile. I kid you not. I kid you not. So Kenneth Adkins is just another line of preachers that we have watched over these few past 5 or so years come unto great scrutiny after coming out very publicly on a statement they get what they deserve. And right now the state of Florida is telling you that you deserve 35 years for molesting that young boy. All right, everybody, that's been my few minutes of truth. This is your boy, Brother Leonard, the Truth Seeker. It's once again revolution to you. I'm going to put this in this video towards the because I'm over now. I'm going to put this in the video. I want to do a Day of Pentecost challenge. I want to challenge folk to Day of Pentecost challenge. And I'm working on it right now, and I'm thinking about it. But my challenge to you is, and I'm going to put out a separate video on it, but my challenge to you is, do you actually need church? And I'm going to put out my video within the next week or so and update it from time to time, because I want to give people the challenge of leaving the institution and how they can do it, because this institution is no good for us. And as the body of Christ, we need more strong believers inside the body actually doing the work of the body instead of doing the work of the church, of the institution, of trying to make the institution live instead of trying to be a free organism, not an organization. So I just thought of this morning, and I'm going to put out a Day of Pentecost challenge. All right, so before Pentecost Sunday, should be in about 3 weeks or so of Pentecost Sunday. When Pentecost Sunday comes up, we're going to start a challenge. I'm going to invite as many people to join the challenge, and I'm going to put out there, and I'm going to put that video up probably sometime next week. So once again, this is your boy, Brother Leonard, the Truth Seeker. Subscribe right here. Hit that subscribe button. All right, and we will talk to you soon. Revolution.